Hello everyone and welcome to the Elder Scrolls Online with me, your host Crypto, a Crypto Gamer, and in today's video guys we are going to be taking a look at the top 5 most useful or even cool looking scribing abilities. If you do enjoy the video guys, please like, share and subscribe, and as you know guys, this is the drill. So what we'll do is we will go into the Scalarium and see Chronicler Ferendial, and on a few different characters guys I'm going to be picking up different grimoires and producing new scribing abilities, and we're going to be testing some of them out in different ways that we haven't tested out before. I'd really like to know guys what you think of the scribing system and what your top 5 favourite scribing abilities are, or even just the ones that you've tested out. Leave it in the comments and let me know what you all think guys. Right, so the very first scribing ability that we are going to go through today guys is going to be the Elemental Explosion, which is an ability for the Destruction Staff skill tree, and it is one of my favourite ones to use in PvP funnily enough, and also in the Infinite Archive. I will be doing videos on both at a later date. And so yeah, now that we've learnt the grimoire, we will now start putting this together. Now that we've set up the scribing ability, we will test it out in the Imperial City, which is a really good place to test it out because it's both PvE and PvP. So you never know, if you come across any players, you'll be able to test it out and see how it goes. This is quite a good ability from stealth to pop down while people are hitting bosses, especially if they're getting near to the end, because then you can pinch their tail bar, which is quite cool. And as you can see, depending on the element, it will actually change. So for this one it was fire because I went for fire, but you can make it ice or even electric, which will give you varying effects, which I think is very nice and pretty awesome in all honesty. It makes the scribing skills way more versatile on the fact that you can change how the skill style looks depending on what signature, affix, scripts you put on it. And I think that's one of the strong points of the scribing system. Realistically speaking, when you add up how many different scribing abilities we have, if you actually look at the variations that you can do with it, there's really more like an extra 3 or 4 different skill variations for each type of scribing ability. Now on the downside, this ability takes 2 seconds to charge up, which is quite a long time, and using something like Liquid Lightning on a sword, or even the Destruction Staff ability, which is actually quite similar to this one, you can actually fire it down a bit quicker and a bit more easier, but still nonetheless a pretty good skill style guys. Right, and the next skill style that we will be taking a look at guys will be the Soul Burst ability that you can also get from Chronicler Ferendial, and this is basically like an AoE burst ability that will be within about 7 meters, and it's sort of a melee range scribing ability similar to that of the Dragon Knight's armor ability. So you could actually pair this up with the Dragon Knight like I am doing in this video, and it will do extra damage. And in this case what we're going to do is we are going to set it up for basically turning into a fire ability, as this is a Dragon Knight. This particular ability guys can be very versatile, as it will work with any sets in the game that actually run off of soul magic or that buff your soul magic abilities. As well as that, if you're using it in the Infinite Archive, this will be a very good ability to use if you're getting hounded by big mobs, especially on melee characters. But you can also, like I say, use this on a Magicka character as well. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's also good for if you're in PvP for those particular reasons as well. So what we'll do guys is we will now test it out and fire it on our bars and see how it looks. Now of course what we're going to do is we're going to test it out in a nice fiery area against some fiery enemies, give it a wee theme here. And so, as you can see, it is a big explosion, very quick, sort of like a giant fiery star. I think it looks really nice, and it's a very quick ability, which means you can use this as a spammable ability. Now, the only thing that I would say that I don't particularly like about this ability is the fact that it is got such a short range. It would have been nice if it had a slightly bigger diameter, maybe by an extra 5 to 6 meters or feet. It would have been quite an OP move overall. You could use this with health or life draining affect scripts as well that would actually help you heal, so this could be quite effective in against ball groups in PvP. You could get a really good heal rate, but I think it's abilities like this, unfortunately, that have caused problems in PvP because of the way the servers are having to deal with all of these very particularly customized scribing skills. And of course, we've got the new update 45 coming out as well that is going to be messing around with PvP, and I will be doing a video on that as well, guys. So far, guys, what do you think of this particular ability? I'd really like to know your thoughts in the comments below. Right, so now what we'll do is we will take a look at the third scribing ability in our list today, which will be Ulfsild's contingency. Now, Ulfsild's contingency is one of the Mage Guild's scribing abilities, or skills should I say, and it is quite a good grimoire, but there are a couple of caveats and things that people have to understand about this particular scribing ability. This is a proccable ability, so you will cast it once and then you will use another ability and it will go off, or you could also cast it again and it will go off. But personally, I would fire this one up when I was maybe doing something explosive in sort of like a stamina build. So this is a wee bit like our last grimoire in regards to the range on it, but because it's a proccable ability, it's an ability that you can just fire on, and once you've activated it, all you have to do then is line yourself up in whichever way that you need. And this can also be used as a self-healing ability as well. So you could use it to do damage to enemies around you, or you could use this particular ability to just heal you and maybe do up your damage shields for a wee bit, which is what I might be doing in this particular instance. And overall, I think the ability is not too bad for that, but it takes a bit of time to get used to that particular mechanic. So let's check it out and put it on our ability bar, and then what we will do now is we will test it out. So this particular morph was called Magical Contingency, and this is the first time I've actually done this particular one. And as you can see, once it goes off, it actually fires a purple effect, and it does significant damage as well. As you can see, it has about the same range, as I said, as the last scribing ability. So overall, not the best, but not the greatest. It will have its uses, and it will be good for anybody that has something similar to a procking build, especially, as I say, for Cyrodiil itself. It's not that high up in my list when it comes to my favourite ones, but it is still in my top 5 because overall it is a good ability for mages and sorks in general. I reckon this would be quite good on a stam sork as well if you programmed the particular skill efficiently with the correct scripts and extra bonuses. Guys, I'd really like to know what you actually think of Ulfsild's contingency, especially if you've tried it out before or if you use it in a build. Let me know how and where you use it and why you use it. It's always interesting to let everybody know these little things. And now what we'll do, guys, is we will now take a look at the next scribing skill in our list, which is scribing skill number 4, which will be the Torchbearer scribing skill ability, which is from the Fighters Guild skill tree. And I do think that this is quite an interesting one. I just did a video on it very recently, guys, one of my last scribing videos that I did. And overall, I think it was quite interesting to see how you could change the appearance of this one. I haven't tested out all the different appearances, but I do think it's quite a good looking scribing skill at the same time. It would actually go very well with the Treasure Hunter's personality because you've already got your torch out. I think it would have been very cool if you could have found a way to actually, or if ZeniMax, should I say, had found a way to customize torches for this sort of personality based on whether you would have the scribing ability, because it would have just made things look really, really awesome. So we will start getting it all set up, and then we will test it out. So for the signature script, guys, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the frost damage signature script, and then that way we can see a different appearance for the Torchbearer skill. And we will also add on the lingering torment script as well, which will give us an extra set of damage over 20 seconds. And after that, I think for our affect script, we will pick evasion, which will give us extra maneuverability. So now we've got the scroll style made. Now what we'll do is we will fire it on the bar and we will test it out, guys. For this particular skill style, guys, to do it justice, we're going to do it in a snowy biome, and we're going to look at it in third person first. And as you can see, it has a nice white ice-like flame, and it does 3 consecutive hits, which of course if you can get it to critical will be quite good. And it looks pretty good in first person as well. Overall, it's a very fast, slightly flashy scribing skill, and overall I think it's pretty sound. I'd like to know your comments below, guys. Let me know what you think of this particular skill style. The only downsides I can see to this is that this is basically a melee, mostly a melee / stamina only ability. So if you're a sorcerer or any sort of staff user, this isn't really going to be of any use to you. Or if you're a double bow build, this is certainly not going to be of any use to you, but overall, not bad. And now, guys, we are going to take a look at the final scribing skill. And this is one of my favourite scribing skills, simply because it is the most versatile skill in the game, overall, in appearance. And basically, depending on whichever mount you're using, will depend on how the skill looks. And it can also be used very efficiently in PvP as a snare system overall. And Trample, I think, is, generally speaking, a pretty good scribing skill. And as we have done before, guys, we will start doing it up, and then we will test it out in a new area that I've not tested anything out in for a while with the scribing skills. So for the focus script, guys, we will go down and we will pick the magical damage ability. Then for the signature script, we will go for Assassin's Misery, which will give us a concussion or sundered stats effects. And finally, I think we will go for Mangle as our affect script, which afflicts enemies with the Mangle debuff for 20 seconds. And we have Magical Trample, and as we both know, this is from the Alliance skill tree. And overall, we're going to test it out and see how it looks. So currently I have the Wizard Sense mount equipped, and as you can see, this is the mount that is being launched out from the Magical Trample skill. And I think it looks very good. It's got a decent range on it. This would be good if you had the Caltraps affect script added on, as this would slow down enemies and snare them slightly. This can be used, as I say, in PvP very efficiently. And overall, I think it is a really beautiful scribing skill. The best looking scribing skill in the game, just because of the versatility of it overall. And now we will test out using a new mount, which will be my Anchorborn Welwa, which is what I use on my Sork. And as you can see, it's very, very bright, so you're going to be able to see this flying out in the battlefield, which makes this quite efficient for being able to see what's going on. I really did like the fact that ZeniMax thought it'd be cool to actually get your mounts involved in combat. I think it is something I'd actually like them to do in the future, or even with an Elder Scrolls 2. I'd love to see you actually being able to use your mount to attack, just like you could in Skyrim, or even being able to do mount-based combat as well. I think it would be very, very cool to see that in the Elder Scrolls Online, but of course with the engine it might be a bit limited. Right guys, if you have enjoyed the video, I'd really like to know what you think in the comments. Please like, share and subscribe, and let me know what your favourite scribing ability is. I hope you all have a great day. This has been Crypto Gamer. Peace out.